Hello, hello. Welcome to another live with me. What is I'm just trying to figure out what is happening with my oh, welcome. Let me know where you guys are watching from. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how to add a comment. So just give me a second. I am doing donation-based readings. I do have a few people who have submitted donations, so I am going to tackle those. If you'd like me to do your reading, there is information. Okay, I am posting it and pinning it. Hi, Julia. Okay, let me pin it. Okay, I think now we should be in business. How is your full moon in Scorpio? How are you guys feeling today? Are you noticing the intensity? Are you noticing things being like a little bit more crazy? Hi, back lace. I'm excited that you finally caught my live. So, I do have a few people that have sent their donations last week and earlier. If one of you is here, if you have sent your donation last week, please speak up so I can pull up your chart and answer your questions. If you'd like me to look at your chart and answer your questions, there is a pinned comment that gives you information for suggested donations. These are pay what you can. And the questions may include love, career, karmic purpose, relationships, future, anything else your heart desires. Hi SK. I see the super thanks. Thank you for doing that. I do ask that it counts, but I do ask people who want a reading to use the links that I provide because that is sort of straight to me versus this goes through YouTube and then it's like, gets taxed and all of that stuff. So in the future, I would appreciate if you guys use the links provided. But okay. Okay, so let me see. Are there people from last week? I have Monica, Christy, Carla, or Ellen. And if not, I can definitely look at SK2888. What is your name, SK? So I can refer to you by your name and not by the numbers. Steph. Okay, Steph, since you're here, I can definitely start with you. But again, anyone who's watching, who's joining, if you'd like a reading, there are payment links in order to donate, to join my list. If you donated last week, let me know. I will prioritize you because you have donated before. Okay, Steph. Steph, did you send me a different payment before, or is this the first time? Because there is a Stephanie that I did get a payment from, and I don't know if this is you or if it's somebody else. Julia, thank you for liking. Okay, Steph, this is the first time. So yeah, I guess it's a different Steph that has done it before. Hi, Maria. Julia, thank you for liking. Yeah, if you guys can like, that is very helpful. I think it helps more people to see the live, definitely helps promote it and encourage more attention. Maria says, I'm a Scorpio with Cancer ascendant. These are donation based, pay what you can. There are payment links in the description of the video and also in the what do I want to say, in the pinned comment. Okay, let me just update my list real quick. So I'm adding Steph to the list. And I did just get a Cash App payment from Sheena. So also, okay, Steph, let me focus on your question. I do prefer that people ask one question, but if we have time, we can definitely answer two, but primarily because these are small and I want to answer questions of multiple people, it's better to prioritize. Okay, Stephanie, let me see. And yeah, if you guys are, how is your full moon? Julia said she's feeling intense. I've had a lot today. I went to a doctor and there were so many miscommunications and things that I expected to happen didn't happen. And then I was trying to hold it together, but it was definitely hard to just be chill and not act like people are not being reasonable. And we actually, today is a full moon day. And we also have, not only it's the full moon, but also there is Mercury square Pluto, which Mercury square Pluto can definitely be very intense and dramatic and can bring like secrets and revelations, obsessive thoughts, fears, and of course, encourage you to transform those. Okay, Steph, I'm putting your information in. I feel like whenever I start doing these, it takes a minute to kind of get into the swing of things. So please be patient with me. And your question was about dates. So I'm going to pull up your chart together with the transits so we can be more specific. Let me see what you guys are saying. Sheena, you're saying hi, that's me. Yeah, I did add you to my list. If you want to email your birthday information, you can send it to anastasia.does.astrology@gmail.com. You can include your date, time, place of birth, and your question. I do ask that people sort of choose one area of interest, one sort of place you want to focus on, because these are shorter readings. If you ever, people who are watching, if you ever want a full reading with me, an hour long or 30-minute long, you can book it at anastasia.does.astrology.com. Okay. Steph, I'm glad you waited 3 sessions before and waited for 3 days for today. That is impressive. Okay, so Steph's question was best licensing exam months for 2025 and 2026. When do you see the best time, month, and year for love to come in for you? Okay, so you're wondering about the exam and you're wondering about romance. And Sheena, and also if there are people who have donated me last week, if you're watching, do let me know, because I do have a few people from last time. And if you want to get a reading, you can donate and get on my list that way. These are suggested donation, pay what you can, so we can, so I can answer as many questions of as many people who cannot afford full-size readings potentially. Okay, Steph, does this look correct for you? Libra, Sun, Taurus, Moon, Scorpio, Rising. Is this you? Okay. So the information is correct. So your first question is about licensing exam months for 2025 and 2026. Right away, what's interesting, you have been in your Jupiter return year. This is something that happens right around the time we turn 35, 36, 23, 24, 12. Every 12 years, approximately, Jupiter comes in and begins a new phase in your life. So this has been potentially the time when you were the year from late May 2024 and until June 9th, 2025. That whole period is your Jupiter return. And so a lot of times it represents conception of a new spiritual, developmental, growth oriented, education oriented stage of your life. What's interesting is your natal Jupiter is in the house of spirituality. It's in the house of sudden events, mysteries, mental health, death, and rebirth, right? Like, which might suggest that you kind of have this interest in these topics. And on some level, you may almost like look with a lot of interest or optimism when it comes to death and questions related to death. So, Kristen, you're asking, can I do yours? Did you send the donation last time? These are donation-based readings. Pay what you can. The payment links are in the pinned comment and in the description. So if you want to join the list, please do send the donation and I will add you to my list. Unless you've sent it last week, but then you'll send the payment. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So Steph, for you, like I said, it's interesting because you are still in your Jupiter return and you're saying, yes, I've always been interested in spirituality. By the way, I really appreciate when you guys comment along. And if you could like the live too, that is also super helpful. You don't have to do it the whole time, but just like pressing the like, I think also shows it to more people. Leah, I see the payment from you. Just a note to say that I appreciate payments through YouTube. I will add you to my list, but in the future, please use the links that are in the description and in the pinned comment, because payments through YouTube, they go through YouTube versus like donations that are through my links. They are sort of directly to me. And YouTube, taxes everything. And so I do appreciate when people just sort of use the links that I provided. So for the future. Okay, so Steph, so when you're asking what is like a really good time, you're kind of approaching a year-long period of like a really, really good time for education. Because Jupiter, there it is right now on May 12th, is about to enter your ninth house on June 9th. And then it's going to stay here all the way until June 30th, 2026. So it's a really, really long period of powerful Jupiter in your house of education, making harmonious aspects. Jupiter in Cancer is exalted. So it's not just Jupiter in the house of education, it's also Jupiter in the sign of exaltation. So it's really great for investing into your passions, into your pursuits, and sort of working on things that are important to you. You did ask for specific dates, so we can definitely be a little bit more specific, right? And let me tell you some potential dates I am seeing. So, okay. So looking at, I think I'm going to prioritize Jupiter specifically. And the ruler of your house of education is this beautiful exalted moon. So that is lovely. So, okay, some really good dates. The earliest before Jupiter even enters Cancer, there is late May, May 27th, specifically when Jupiter trines Mercury. In July, we have a couple of potent opportunities. July 7th is Jupiter in your ninth house of education, sextiling your midheaven. And then there is going to be more opportunities when Jupiter connects with your moon, which is August 20th and February 19th and March 30th, 2026. So those are, I think, really, really good dates. I hope that helps. And the other question was for you, when do you see the best time, month, and year for love? Also, everyone who's watching, if you ever want a face-to-face reading with me where you are asking me questions and I can kind of we can have a conversation, you can book it on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. There's a variety of readings, variety of options, and definitely includes a more in-depth look. Okay, Steph says, thank you so much for exam dates. Ashley, I did see your donation. I did add you to my list. I will get to you as I go through these. Okay. Okay. And so also you're asking, Steph, real quick, you're asking the best month for you for love. So Taurus season will always be good for you romantically because it activates your seventh house of relationships. Venus is about to go into Taurus. So this is going to be, let me give you exact days. So right now she's in Aries until the end of the month. She goes into Taurus on June 6th. And so in June, in your she's going to stay in your 7th house for until about July 3rd, 4th. So June is a really good month to go at it and date and sort of, have fun. Okay, Kristen, I see you as well. Okay, Steph, so I think that's going to be my take. I hope this answers your question. Definitely Taurus season, like I said, always important Taurus transits are good. The ruler of your house of relationships is Venus in Leo, so also potentially Leo season, August. I think summertime can in general be like pretty good for you because it activates your Venus and it activates your relationship house. Can you still see my screen? I feel like my app is acting out a little bit. You're welcome, Steph. Hopefully you can put love and career together. Okay, so Sheena, are you still here? Because Sheena is next on the list. Oh, thank you, Steph. that is nice of you. Yeah, if you want to get on the list, please use the links in the description and in the pinned comment. And these are suggested donation. Pay what you can. However much you can afford, however generous you feel. That is up to you guys. Okay, Leah or Sheena, let me guys know if you're still watching. Leah, I see you. Sheena, well, Leah was here earlier, but I don't know if she's still here. Okay, Leah is here. Let's do Leah's chart next. And, people sometimes also ask like what the suggested donation is. And this is really up to you because I want to make sure, people who cannot afford my full priced readings can get in. But in the past, people have donated like 10, 20, 30. That would be my suggested range, I guess. But again, it is appreciated. Your support is appreciated. And I know that not everyone can donate that much. So again, these are just meant to encourage, I guess, show you my skills and give you some guidance both at the same time. Okay, Leah, let me focus on your reading next. December 21st, 1980. (10:20 p.m.) Leah, are you still in Canada? Or have you moved away from Canada? Okay, so wondering if you can offer any insight on the romance front. Any insight would be greatly appreciated. Okay. Leah says she still is in Canada, live in Montreal. Is this correct? And are you seeing your chart? So I have Capricorn Sun, Cancer Moon, Virgo Rising. You are a full moon child, really born very close to the full moon. That tends to always be a sign of the full life, a lot of experiences, a lot of maybe, the good, the bad, the ugly. It is also often the sign of people who can be perhaps more famous for certain things. There is just kind of more possibility because you're born on the full moon for your life to be full with also like visibility. Okay, so your question was about relationships. And you're saying you've been feeling you've been feeling Pisces has been a ride. So the good news is, and let me actually pair up your chart. So we're gonna look at the transits. Okay, ladies, I do see your comments. I did add you to my list, so please be patient. And also, if Sheena is here at any point, because she did send a donation as well, I would appreciate her letting me know. Ashley, Kristen, I do see you guys for sure. And if new people are watching who would like a reading, there is link in the description. There's also a pinned comment. So if you'd like to jump on the list, I would ask you to send a donation to join my list of people I'm going to look at. Okay, Leah. So the good news is, of course, the fact that Saturn is starting to leave your seventh house, right? Have you noticed from March 2023 up until now, what has Saturn brought in? Did it bring more seriousness when it comes to relationships? Saturn shows up in a variety of ways. I actually have a friend who they've had a baby, and he said it was, like, of course, difficult. It was the second baby, and they've dealt with some difficulty, but it's also something that brought them together and, like, made them closer on many levels. And then Saturn in the seventh house also shows up as, like, a test for relationships and breaks relationships, or it makes one feel more isolated. It sort of lifts up all of the, like, heavy karma around relationships. It can bring challenges in the lives of the partner. So um how has it been? How has it been for you? Ashley, I did get your donation. You are on my list. Leah is saying Saturn transiting the seventh house has been isolating, honestly. I can see that for sure. And, like, as a Libra rising who's about to get Saturn in my seventh house, I don't know how to feel about it. Um, because, like I said, it could go either way. But the good news is it's starting to let up, right? Just 2 weeks from now, even less, 12 days from now, Saturn will enter Aries, means it's going to finally leave your seventh house of relationships. And then we have eclipses here continuously happening for the next 2 years. So there's an eclipse this year in Pisces in September, and then there's another one next year. So what was happening in your romantic life back in 2007, 2008, Leah? Were you dating anyone? The ruler of your house of relationships is Jupiter. It is conjunct Saturn, right? So you kind of have this like good luck that comes with taxes, good luck and sort of rewards that come with some kind of sacrifices. It's almost like you're meant to be in a relationship with someone, but maybe they're older, maybe they're more serious, maybe they're more stern. Like, there is some kind of, like, compromise that needs to be made. And I think because your natal Jupiter is conjunct Saturn, it might also suggest that there is, like, delay and a lesson in patience that you need to work on. You're saying I moved to Montreal and left a romantic relationship in 2008. Okay. Um, that is so relationships were definitely prominent at the time, right? Another thing, you are 44, and 44, wait, are you 44? Is my math correct? 44, right? So 42, 43, 44. It's the ninth house year. It's ruled by Venus and Sagittarius. So there is this interesting possibility this year of, like, maybe traveling and meeting someone abroad. It's interesting because your Venus is in Sagittarius, but it's also in the fourth house. So it's almost like you're meant to be with someone who's from the same hometown as you, but has, like, lived abroad or speaks a different language or shares similar values, but maybe they're foreign. Um, you're saying 44. Okay. Okay, Sheena, I see you. You're next on my list. Please stick around. We will do your reading next. So you have a strong moon. I like your moon. Your Venus is in this adventurous Sagittarius ruled by Jupiter. Your seventh house is ruled by Jupiter. Ashley, thank you so much. I feel like, have you sent me a donation twice? That's very sweet of you. Okay, Ashley, you will be after Sheena. So as of right now, it's Sheena, Ashley, Kristen, and Alexandra, I think. Am I missing anyone? If I am missing you, please tell me. Okay, Leah. So I think, last time, like in 2007, 2008, you ended a relationship. So relationships were important for you, but perhaps something wasn't quite right, so you ended a relationship. Are you in a relationship right now? Hi, Jay. Melinda, I'm missing you from my list. Have you sent me, what did you use to send me a donation? Why am I missing you? How is it possible? So Leah, okay. You send it on Venmo. I don't think I saw it. I don't know if it came through, Melinda. Unless, yeah, no, I don't see you. Okay, Leah is saying I'm looking to be. So okay, so let me focus. Sorry, it gets overwhelming. I don't mean to like get distracted from your question, but sometimes it's just like other people send comments. And okay, so in general, right, the ruler of your house of relationships is Jupiter in Libra. So I think it promises you a partner who is like very diplomatic, very well traveled, open-minded, some kind of like maybe someone who's like a judge, or like does work that is creative and somehow like fair. Saturn does make things more complicated. Saturn does make you wait a little bit. Saturn also might suggest that you really need to be careful with your own fear of closeness and intimacy and vulnerability in relationships, because Saturn will always bring these lessons of like, why am I meeting these people? Why can't I meet the right person? Well, in reality, you maybe need to work through some of your fears and sort of challenges, because a lot of times Saturn can, like, you keep meeting people who are like your father, or you keep meeting people who aren't ready to commit. And so the question might be like, are you ready? What is there that you can still like maybe working on your boundaries. I would also recommend making sure that you are very clear in terms of what you want, what you don't want. That's like very Saturn transiting your seventh, Saturn conjunct the ruler of your house of relationships. The eclipses in September this year and August, September next year, very significant. And I think last time they took a person out of your life when you were in a relationship that wasn't right for you. Right now you're single, so they are more likely to bring you the person that is right for you. And another positive sign is Jupiter entering Cancer and then conjoining your moon, and trining your descendant. So this period from, like, I would really recommend you go out and you tell your friends that you're looking to date, and you let your friends set you up. You have this very, very healthy and strong moon in Cancer, that can be very supportive, I think, in terms of like, it can be a blessing when it comes to your friendships. This looks like very loving women, maybe even like older women in your life that just like see you and they're like, "Lulu, she's so pretty." Like, I don't know, you have like a really good female support system, I think, that can be very like good for you. And so relying on your female friends and like networking and going out this year could all be very, very helpful. Okay, I think I'm gonna close the list because I do have well, I don't know. Let's see. Let's wait a little bit. So okay. So Leah, I think that's my take on your question. I hope that provides you with some insight and offers you some guidance. You could potentially benefit from my Jupiter in Taurus candle, but I do make candles that have magical properties. And since Jupiter rules your house of relationships, Jupiter in Taurus could be kind of, helpful and supportive because it also has Venus in Taurus. So I would really recommend that as well. Alexandra, I'm not sure who are you responding to. Sheena is saying, can you see my comments? I do see your comments. You are next on my list. So I also received your email. So no, Alexandra, don't apologize. I'm just, I see it and I'm curious who you're responding to, and I missed the whole thread. So I'm like, what's happening? But it is true what you're saying. Age 30 is the Saturn return. Indeed. So much going on. Yeah, and the full moon in Scorpio and the energy of the full moon is also very, very strong. Okay, moving on to Sheena, Leah. I hope this was helpful. Okay. Also, for any of you, again, as you're watching, if you want a full reading, if you want to talk to me face to face, have like an actual conversation, share your story, have me give you insight based on your story, because a lot of times, your future on many levels is determined by your past. And it's kind of helpful to know where you're coming from, what you're working on. So having like a conversation could be always good. And you can book a reading on my website if you ever want full, full reading. I'm getting like my phone is buzzing. My computer is sending me notifications. It is a lot. Okay. Sheena. For some reason, the city is not popping up. Let me try. Sheena, is there a different way to spell the town you were born in? Or is there a different town that is really, really close? For some reason, I can't see it. Okay, Melinda. Added Melinda to my list. And then we also have Stephanie. Let me add Stephanie to the list. You ladies are awesome. Thank you for being patient with me. Okay, Sheena, is there any other city that is close to you? And I am going to close the list for now. Because there are quite a few of you here. So let's just pause the list for today. Okay, Sheena, please give me an alternative option for your place of birth, like a different city that is maybe close by. I am going to try to type it in again because, of course, there is a chance that maybe I misspelled it. No, did not misspell it. Sometimes SolarFire, which is the app I'm using, it just doesn't recognize certain places. It's actually really good with all the options they have here, but they do not have everything. And I'm gonna try to see if there is a similar, like just any other. Is New Delhi near where you were born? Is there some other option for the city? And is anyone who's watching maybe knows, we're looking for Thiruvula, Kerala, India. Is there like a different city that is very close? And if somebody's watching who can Google it and tell me a city that is really close, then you guys will get extra credit in my book. Actually, I can probably Google it also, but if you guys know. Okay, let me actually see. So it's Thiruvula, Thirvulla, Kerala, India. And I don't know, maybe Kerala is the city? No, but I think yeah, Thirvulla. Oh, I think it's missing a U in it. I think it's Thiru. Okay, let's see. Thiruvalla. No, still nothing. Okay. What is close by? We are stumped over here. Alexandra found it. Ellen is asking, can I replay this recording later? Yes, indeed, you can. Yeah, I found it also, but like, I don't know. Let me see. There's what is there? Meredith, thank you for trying. Okay. Which one are you giving me? You're giving me Pathanam something. Let's see. Let's try. Nope. Too small. I think I need something like really. What about Kaviyur? You guys are so you're so cute how you're helping me. I love you guys. Kaviyur? Why what is happening? Why are we not finding Indian places? Is there like something really Chenganur? Chenganur. Chenga N-N-U-R. There it is. Okay, we found Chenganur. Hopefully that is enough. Sheena, are you still here? Kerala, India. Yeah, okay. So Chenganur seems to be relatively close by, and the ascendant for Sheena is Libra. Libra is a sign of the longer ascension. So you may know, but you may not know that there are certain zodiac signs that are rising for about 2 hours. And then there are some zodiac signs that are rising for about an hour. For example, Aries, Taurus, Pisces, Aquarius, they're considered shorter ascension. So they go past the horizon, past the ascendant line really fast versus like Virgo, Leo, Libra, Scorpio. That's why there is so much more of us than there is potentially Aries, Pisces, Taurus, Aquarius risings, maybe also even Gemini risings, but it starts to shift. Okay. So Sheena's question was what to expect in the coming year, especially for new work. A lot of exciting things. So Sheena, you have been in a period of professional review and rethinking. Let me also see just real quick. You are 41, sixth house. You're turning 42. You're going into the seventh house. So 42 is the year that could be important for professional partnerships. When you're 40, sorry, 42. When you turn 42, that is the year of the seventh house. So it is the year of like professional partnerships, relationships, business, and it activates your natal Mars. And what's happening at the same time is on June 9th, we have this sort of very beautiful, soothing Jupiter entering Cancer transit. At the start of the year, you may have dealt with a lot of adjustment, rethinking, figuring things out. Maybe there were some back and forth. Maybe you even dealt with some kind of financial issues when it comes to work or like, sort of challenges, frustrations, delays because Mars was retrograding from your house of community. So even questioning like who's on your side, who's in your corner, who you can trust. and then dealing with some realignment, rearrangement, back and forward professionally, like lack of motivation, lack of energy. So all of this is about to change with Jupiter entering Cancer on June 9th. And then this is going to last all the way until June 30, 2026. So it's a whole year and approximately 3 weeks, like a year and 3 weeks. And there will be quite a few really, really positive transits for you. So August 15th and August 18th, Jupiter is conjoining your midheaven and it's conjoining your Mars. And then February and March next year, specifically February 26, 2026, and March 23rd, 2026, Jupiter will again conjoin your Mars. So in August, this feels like there's maybe a new opportunity, a new door opening. It could be connected to maybe your business. It could be connected to a promotion, a raise, um, a birth of something, right? This could be a birth of like a child on some level, but it could also be a birth of like a new project. Sorry, I'm seeing your comments, you guys. You're Sheena, you're mentioning other cities. I did already pull up your chart with Chenganur, India, so hopefully that works out. There may be somebody is saying that the internet may be lagging. It may be, yeah, there may be some kind of slowdown potentially that we're dealing with, but hopefully not too bad. Um, can you see the chart? Are you seeing Sheena's chart? Um, is it working? Is this thing on? I am tempted to knock on the Sheena, I do see your messages, but I did already open your chart. If anything, you can always go back to the replay and go to the 40-minute mark. And then at the 40-minute mark, you will find your reading. Okay, I'm gonna continue going. I wonder if we are dealing with some kind of delay, because that would be annoying. Okay, so as I was saying, August brings positive professional opportunities. It also conjoins your Mars, and so that might mean gains financially because Mars rules your house of money, and Mars also rules your house of relationships and partnerships. So it's an interesting year because next year when you turn 42 could be both really good for relationships, almost to a point that maybe you meet someone or you get married and your finances increase through that partnership, or professionally, as in like new possibilities, new opportunities. And those specific dates, like I said, we have August 15th, 18th is really positive, and then February 26th, March 23rd is another one. Yeah, Sheena, we do see your messages. Okay, next is going to be Kristen. Kristen, are you still here? Ashley, thank you, Ashley, also for keeping up, saying that we see you, Sheena, maybe lagging on either end. Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna say that Sheena is done because we did address her question. Hopefully she can catch up and watch it later. Okay, Ashley. Ashley, you're next. You're basically next on my list. There's Ashley and Kristen, Alexandra, Melinda, and Stephanie. I have you ladies. So okay, since Ashley is here, I can do Ashley next. Ashley, did you email me your information or can you put it in the comment window? I hope. I don't know why it's so. Okay, let me see if this way it will catch up a little bit. So, Ashley, I will need your date, time, and place of birth unless you send it to me, which I don't think so. And I think your question was about career, right? Let me actually see if I can. I feel like it is potentially delayed because I am asking a question then waiting a really long time for you guys. Okay, Kristen and Ashley. Ellen is here. Ellen. Oh, Ellen from last week. Ellen. Meredith. Okay. Yeah, but I don't know. You guys can hear me, but I don't know if there is a major delay. So, okay, for any of you, Ellen, I actually have your information, so I can pull up your chart right now. But then Ashley, Kristen, Alexandra, Melinda, and Stephanie, if you guys can share your information and then, in this order, but also whichever one of you is watching, whichever one of you I can go with next, that would be helpful. But okay, Ellen is here. Okay, and if you guys, Kristen, I see your question, but I will still need your information. Even if you send it already, it probably is somewhere up in the comment list. So if you could duplicate it, I would appreciate that. Okay, pulling up Ellen's chart. Let's hope we are working in business here. I feel like even if there is a delay, you can always just refer back to the recording and watch your specific reading because it will always be there once we are done. Okay, so Ellen's question was, will I find lasting love soon? You also mentioned that you're feeling unsure about returning to teaching early childhood. I have health issues and I have invested a lot into healing from past relationships. Not sure if this helps with answering my question around when will I get married. Okay, so the question is about love and relationships. Yeah, I feel like the delay is definitely here. Okay, so Ellen. So in your chart, you have, let me see. So obviously your seventh house is the fact that Saturn is here, the fact that Pluto is here, that brings a lot of attention to your house of relationships. It also suggests delays. So Saturn gets friendly after your Saturn return, so after your 30s, but then oftentimes it gets like even better when you're like in your early 40s potentially. You have to be here, you have to really pay like Saturn in the seventh is often very sneaky because it may bring partners into your life that are somehow like closed off, that are maybe non-committal, that maybe are unavailable, detached, difficult to be with, and there may be the sense that you're like, where did this come from? I thought this was a completely different person. So you are encouraged here to kind of notice, to recognize that you have a big part to play in what kind of people you're attracting. because a lot of times Saturn will suggest that you are going for people that represent your fears, or you may have a lot of like blockages and fears and like your own fear of vulnerability. For example, an example here might be um like really avoiding conflict or really not wanting to fight with the person that you are with, and seeing that as like a perfect relationship, while in reality maybe you are avoiding true intimacy, right? And you're not. I think Saturn in the seventh requires a lot of self-awareness and requires you to be patient, and also be like have kind of not say no to people, because like I don't know, you have to be ready to be vulnerable, you have to be ready to be hurt on some level, and you have to be ready to kind of go for people that someone's saying definite lag. Yeah, I do think there is this live has been lagging, and we've been having a lot of like, because I'm seeing your messages way later than when I'm asking your questions. So I'm just going to answer your questions, do your readings, and then encourage you that you look at the recording if you missed anything. um okay, so to sum up, Ellen, I think with Saturn there is a lesson of like learning to recognize your own fears, and how you may be consciously or subconsciously keeping people at bay, right? I've seen this show up in so many ways, like not wanting to fight in a relationship, having a million requirements, dating someone who is already in a relationship so you can't really be with this person. So knowing that you have control, knowing that you have the power to not date people like that. And then Pluto really also wants you to um, be in a relationship where you share the power instead of you're trying to control to it, and you're like um, kind of being open to true like vulnerability and sharing your fears with people, instead of trying to like hide a part of yourself that is ugly and pleasant. Your question was, when or will I find lasting love soon? I don't think there is anything that like prevents you. I think Jupiter going into Cancer and conjoining your Venus will be significant. So late, it might be like, it's probably going to be May, June next year, can be really potent and powerful for you, because Jupiter will be coming to like do this little dance with your natal Venus. Um, Let me see if I have the right. Okay, wait. Yeah, I think it's going to be next May, June is when it's going to conjoin your Venus. So, yeah, okay, June 17th. So, approximately you can say like 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after that, there is a powerful romantic possibility for you. So you can find love, there's many possibilities. You're saying that is spot on. Thank you. Okay, I'm glad that you guys are actually watching and you're able to comment and hear what I'm saying. I don't know how this lag is affecting us, but Mandy's asking, how do I get a reading? So I did close the list for now because I've been live for about an hour and I want to finish people that have already sent donations. But I'm doing these every Monday at approximately this time, so you can jump on next time. Kristen, could you prioritize? I don't know if you asked me multiple questions, but I feel like, oh, is this your question? I'd like to know why I'm struggling mentally. Okay. I think just FYI, like if you could prioritize one question, that could be helpful. So yes, Ellen, next May, June, but I feel like keep working on yourself, keep like being really kind of self-aware, right? Like you have this very caring, kind, loving, sensitive Venus in Cancer that attaches very deeply and can be very emotional. And so you kind of have to be both discerning and have strong boundaries, but you also have to be ready to like let people in. Monica, did I do your reading yet? No, I did not, but I am gonna do it now because I'm sorry, ladies, but Monica did send her donation like last May 2nd is when she sent it. So I'm gonna do her reading and then Ashley and Kristen and Alexandra and Melinda and Stephanie. I did mention to you in the beginning that there are people that are on my list from last week. So again, I really appreciate you being patient as I try to get through everyone. Okay, Ellen, and I do hope, Ellen, I answered your question. Again, I sort of believe that you can absolutely find love soon. And I think Jupiter being in Cancer and conjoining your Venus in May, June next year could be really, really powerful for that. Okay, Monica. Okay, Monica is. So let me see. Okay, Monica, this is the chart we all have come to know and love. Taurus Sun, Scorpio Moon, Scorpio Rising. Your question was, let's see what major shifts, love or money, your choice are coming my way. I feel like Saturn and Pluto have been pretty impactful on me lately. Hoping some good shifts come during the second half of the year. So you're saying you're feeling Saturn and Pluto have been pretty impactful. Pluto in the fourth house will be impactful. Saturn in the fifth house for sure. And you also said it squared your Venus. Absolutely. That's not fun. I just had it oppose my Venus. So feeling you there. And of course, it was also your Saturn opposition. Um, Ellen, okay. Yeah, be ready for it. Keep processing because Saturn in the 7th is just like it's this sneaking energy when it feels like it's other people, but like you kind of have to look in the mirror and be like, what is it I truly want and what is it I'm attracting? What am I afraid of? Okay, Monica, um money or choice, love, money, your choice, what major shift coming my way? Okay, so let's see, money. So Jupiter is actually right now on top of your Venus. That is always exciting romantically. So the major shifts we have, okay, we have the nodes, right? We have Pluto in the fourth. Jupiter rules your house of money, and it's about to go into the sign of its exaltation in the sector of education. So that could be significant. Uranus goes into your house of money. Okay, I feel like money is calling my name more than anything right now. We can do love next week, Monica. Maybe if you decide. Because like I said, I've been looking into your chart almost every live I'm doing, but not quite everyone. You're saying I'm a teacher, hope it's a big raise. Yeah. So, okay. So the ruler of your second house of money is Jupiter. Natally, it's in the sign of its detriment, right? Which doesn't mean your money is just like in detriment, but it does mean that maybe there is, maybe it's like, it's just sometimes a little bit more complicated for you because Jupiter in Virgo wants to serve, it wants to help people. So you are a teacher, right? So you're going for a job that is very important, very like life changing for so many people, but it's not always compensated correctly, right? So that could be like Jupiter being in the sign of its detriment. I do have Jupiter in Taurus candle that will be trining your natal Jupiter. That could be really helpful. Taurus is all about abundance and you're a Taurus sun. So it could be a really great fit like for manifesting and building wealth. But the good news is Jupiter entering Cancer means that it's going to immediately sextile your natal Jupiter, the ruler of your house of money, like literally at entrance. We do have simultaneously Saturn also going into your sixth house of work. So there is maybe a financial reward that's coming your way, but it may come at first with some kind of like sacrifice, maybe longer work hours. maybe you taking over other person's like responsibilities. So there will be this sense at first as it happens that maybe you're like questioning, is it even worth it, because of all the effort I have to be putting in. Saturn is of course going into your sixth house. You have to be careful with this Saturn that you're not like taking on way too much than what your health or your energy or your time allows you. But I think once Jupiter clears that square to Saturn, which is our last square, it might be worth looking at like last August and late December in terms of what was happening, like what kind of delays or obstacles you have encountered. Here, the square happens in the brand new signs. So it feels like some kind of growth in the sector of education that can bring you financial rewards because it's sextiling your ruler of the house of money, but maybe comes with these like read the fine print, watch out for saying yes to too many things. You're saying, oh, yeah, 100% major sacrifice. There's a lot of hoops I have to jump for this pay raise, lots of personal time sacrificed, and does impact my health. Yeah. So uh, be ready that at first this might, this like opportunity might weigh relatively like heavy. But I think when Jupiter frees up and it kind of goes forward, there may be better benefits. Yeah. I think in general, Monica, I think being so also you just turned 45. So yes, happy belated birthday. And that is the year of the house of career. So I feel like a raise is a raise, and like also maybe an opportunity to like roar and speak for what you believe and like really ask for what you deserve, right? Like it just reads with like that Leo energy being active and Mars on top of your midheaven. Like you're ready, you're sort of almost like forced to speak up and assert yourself. Okay, Monica, I hope it's helpful. Ashley, your turn. And I see your information. Okay, let me pull up your chart, Ashley. And thank you, Monica, for always asking me questions. Never stop asking me questions, Monica. And good luck with the job search. Okay, July 6, 97. 9:32 a.m. Wheaton, Illinois. So again, my list right now goes Ashley, Kristen, Alexandra, Melinda, and Stephanie. And for today, this will be it. I will do my best to get to all 5 of you. And then next week, I'm doing these once a week lately. So if you want me to do your reading, please join me next week and you can jump on the list then. Allison is here. Um, hi, Allison. I missed you saying hi, Anastasia. So hi. Um, okay. Monica says, I'll be back next week with a new question. That's that Virgo curiosity. And Scorpios need to have some kind of control over life that we very rarely. Oh, and Gemini Venus. I don't know if I told you, but my moon is right next to your Venus. So we have this nice moon Venus combination. Okay, Ashley. Let me see. Did I get everything correct? Wheaton, Illinois, 9:32 a.m. Okay. And Ashley, I think you said that you just got laid off or something, right? Did you say that there was something happening with your work? Guidance in career, when will it improve, and general predictions or what you see. Okay, please confirm that you are indeed Cancer, Sun, Leo, Moon, Virgo rising. I feel like the lag must have gotten fixed, but I think this information makes sense. Okay. So, Monica says yes, that constant search for answers and to understand things better. Yeah, that's very Virgo, Gemini, Scorpio energy to me, I think. Yeah, Sonia, do come by next week to join the list. Okay, Ashley. So what's happening with your career? First of all, you are 27 turning 28, right? 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So 27 is the Jupiter ruled year, 28 is the Saturn ruled year. You're about to go into your Saturn return, and 28 will be Saturn ruled. So Saturn will be a very important planet for you. The ruler, so your midheaven is placed in the ninth house, which often suggests that you are meant to explore a lot of different fields. Your career is not necessarily found a cushy job and stayed in it for the rest of your life. You're meant to keep learning, you're meant to keep exploring, you're meant to sort of keep searching. I think it's interesting because I can see you being like a really good diplomat because it's ninth house is the house of education travel. So it can suggest that you're meant to work in education or you're meant to work, have a job that requires a lot of travel. Of course, it's Taurus. Taurus would want stability. It would want to have like some kind of security, finance professionally. So a lot of times early in life, there may be a tendency to prioritize jobs that make you feel more kind of stable and secure. But the ruler, so the ruler being Venus in the 12th house, it also connects your career to like foreign lands or foreign people at the very least. So yeah, so that's just what I'm thinking in terms of what you're meant to be doing professionally. Ashley, I don't know if you're still here. Maybe there is a delay. I'm not sure what you're doing professionally right now. But the question was when it will improve and general predictions or what I see. So the big shift that's happening currently, right, is this Uranus on top of your midheaven. So that is a really major, basically once in a lifetime transit. You're not going to have Uranus conjoin your midheaven again because Uranus takes 84 years to circle the zodiac. So next time it's going to conjoin your midheaven will be in 84 years. So unless you're one of the people who lives to be 150 years old, it's not likely to happen. So Uranus, let me see. Your midheaven is at 2648. Uranus is at 2659 right now. Why is it not showing it to me? Oh, I guess you just had the last one. So you just had the last Uranus midheaven conjunction. So that's positive. That suggests that you had the final shakeup. So congratulations. So Uranus conjoined your midheaven on July 30th, 2024, in early October 2024, and May 9th, 2025. So this is in effect right now, and it's going to be in effect for probably another month. So Uranus wants you to kind of wake up. It's the awakener. It wants you to maybe deal with surprises in your professional life and figure out what is it that you truly want. So sometimes Uranus brings these disruptions that are meant to empower you and enlighten you. Was something happening? So those dates I gave you, like July last year, July, August, and then September, October, was anything happening at your job already? So to answer your question, when will things get better? Let me see what else is happening with your midheaven. Saturn is going to be aspecting your midheaven, sextiling it in October and January, so that can potentially be beneficial. And then Jupiter is going to aspect your midheaven as well. And that will be when? You said you lost a job as a teacher side. That is correct. Did you lose it more recently, or are you talking about August into October last year? So yeah, so okay. So Saturn will sextile your midheaven on October 14th and January 10th, 2026. And that might suggest that there are some kind of opportunities professionally that maybe you've been working on for a long time, or maybe they come from you're saying you lost your job at the beginning of April this year. Yeah, so Uranus would have already been in a close proximity to your midheaven, but you can say that this has been happening on and off all the way from like maybe even July last year. Maybe things were like stirring. Are you happy with what you're doing? Is there like something you would want to change? Maybe you would want to move um or do some kind of other like explore some other possibilities. Would you ever want to like start your own business or do something that is less dependent on other people giving you work? Jupiter is about to go into your house of community from June 9th until June 30th, 2026. You're going back to school. Okay. You want to become an art therapist. That is really great. Um yeah, so I think maybe that's what Uranus conjunct your midheaven was about. It was like creating this shakeup that seems like it came from maybe other people, but it could have also been like the universe reminding you that maybe there's something that is not in alignment, right? And Saturn return that's about to begin for you, you're not going to have the exact Saturn conjunction until next year, most likely. But I believe Saturn return begins the moment Saturn enters the sign you were born in. And so that begins on May 24th until September 1st. This is really an important period in life because it also oftentimes begins and brings some kind of like red lights and rejection or dissatisfaction. And Saturn really forces you to look at the next 30 years of your life when you are actively working and participating in, and like having a professional life so that you maybe align yourself with what you truly want to do in a better way. So I think studying new things is great. I think with Jupiter going into your 11th house and conjoining your sun, conjoining your Mercury, I think you're kind of exploring maybe your interests and your passions and things that you always had that made you happy and your nurturing side. And so being an art therapist and going back to school is like really great. Um Kristen says I want to be an art therapist too. Yeah, and even with your Saturn in the 8th house, actually, that is also this very like interesting placement that can help you see intertwinement between different people and connections people have and like their fears, or like bring death and rebirth into their lives, I think. Yeah, and with like another thing too, with midheaven being ruled by Venus in the 12th, and its Venus moon conjunction, that is also such a creative combination. The moon is what we need. In Leo, it's going to need to be creative, expressive, playful. Venus is the planet of creativity. It means that your career is meant to be either behind the scenes, some kind of creativity behind the scenes, or working with people's minds. And so I think that checks out. I think I really like it. And I feel like Uranus conjoining your midheaven, bringing these shakeups, having you lose your job, is really here to like remind you that maybe you're meant to do something else, and like working in education, working with like people, being like a person who guides other people is really great. Yeah, just with Saturn going into your 8th house, watch out for maybe like be careful with taking too many loans because I can see this as being like, you have this new path and you're saying I changed from one school to a new one. So you're already in school. I hope this is helpful, Ashley. I think yeah, like with your Saturn return, like I said, just be careful with like taking on too many loans, too much debt. It's okay sometimes to take some debt, right? Because if it's your ideal career and it's something that you're meant to be doing. And also with your North Node in the first house in Virgo too, it's like you're learning how to take your gifts of Pisces, your South Node gifts, and apply them in this like organized fashion, and how not to just dream about your passion, but like actually create it and systematize it. That's a weird word, like sounds weird. I don't know how to say it properly. Organize it, right? And like bring it into the world. Um, Okay. Ashley saying that's awesome. Kristen lost job April this year, left for school August 2023. Yeah, and also like you got to work on your like stick to itiveness, because with Virgo, with like Pisces South Node, there sometimes could be this like lack of focus. And so with North Node and Virgo, like you're sort of meant to like narrow it down and figure things out. Okay, Ashley, that's my take on your question. Kristen, I see your information. I know your question is somewhere above. Alexandra, Melinda, and Stephanie will be next. If you ladies are around, please say hi. Let me know. Okay. Kristen. Ashley says, I want to move to Montana eventually and become an art therapist, but I would love to be an artist. You can probably combine the two, right? Be like a therapist and an artist. Okay, Alexandra is still here. Okay, Kristen and Alexandra. So Kristen, December 9, 92, 8:01 a.m. I went this weekend on Saturday. My boyfriend and I woke up at 5 in the morning and we went to Central Park to film a yoga video, because I am on the precipice, with Jupiter about to enter my 10th house of career as a Libra rising, of starting a YouTube channel. I've been like getting ready for it. And I filmed a really cool YouTube video, but I also slammed my knee into a stone bench. So I've been in pain, you guys. But I think it's gonna be fine. I think I'll recover and everything will be okay. Okay, Kristen, December 9, 92. December 9, 92, 8:01. We have San Antonio, Texas. Okay, Kristen, December 9, 92, 8:01 a.m., San Antonio, Texas. And your question was, why am I struggling mentally? Why do I not pick things and people that helped me? Okay, so the question is about struggling mentally. Let's see. So, Kristen, is this you? Sagittarius Sun, Gemini Moon, Sagittarius Rising? Alexandra says Texas lady here too, Kristen. We have Texas in the house. Okay, so Kristen, ouch, your knee. You need to be careful. I do need to be careful indeed. Okay, so a few things, right? I think immediately what jumps at me is your south node on the moon. Ashley says I have the death tarot card tattooed on me. Wow. Okay. That is very Saturn and Aries in the 8th house. Okay. Okay, Kristen, I feel like this delay thing definitely keeps like popping in and out. So you're born with South Node Moon conjunction, right? It's not exact, but it is sort of there. And so okay, Kristen says yes. So South Node Moon conjunction it would definitely create moodiness and it will definitely create emotional ups and downs. South Node is the past. South Node is also in Vedic astrology, North Node and South Node were initially part of the dragon that was slayed and cut in two and put on two separate sides of the ocean. By the way, you guys, if you ever want to know more about astrology, I'm teaching a course. So all of this will be in a course. Begins in September. Find it at anastasiadoesastrology.com. And you can also book a reading on there or, pick up one of my candles, whatever your heart desires. So it was a dragon. It was cut in half, put on different sides of the ocean. And North Node represents the head of the dragon. And so North Node is the part of us that is really hungry, really sort of insatiable desire for things. And then South Node is the tail of the dragon. So it's that part of us that is releasing, letting things go. And a lot of times it like lacks the sense of direction. So when you have your moon conjunct South Node, there are a few things. There may be some kind of old karmic energy of hurting your mother or having some kind of issues with mothers, with women. It may suggest that your relationship with your mom in this lifetime is really complicated. And so working on like emotional nurturance of yourself and other women in your life, volunteering, donating time and energy to women and connecting with women can be really, really helpful, both for your mental health and for even your karmic purpose. And it's also very interesting here because you have this sun moon opposition, which reads as like parents who are very different, parents who come like from diametrically opposite sides of the world. And you're kind of learning to be less, on some level, you're learning to be less than your mother and more like your father, less in your head and more just sort of go for it and go for things. You do have, you're kind of like encouraged to concentrate and focus on your passions, and I think concentrate and focus on spiritual things potentially. But I think for you, I would like some kind of, I think, like community work, working with women, helping women, even like meditating, because if you are moody and if you notice that you can focus a lot on the negatives, that also means that you have ability to concentrate on things, so you can kind of learn to reroute it and maybe work. Kristen says, hell yeah, LOL, my mom is a Gemini. My mom is a Gemini too, and I have a Gemini moon. And not just a Gemini moon, but I also have like moon Chiron conjunction. So I can write books about mothers and daughters and stuff like that. Dad's a Scorpio. Okay. It's interesting because if your dad is a Scorpio, he might have some Sagittarius placements because of that. So, Kristen, I think that's my take on your chart. That's what I would recommend, like working with women, working on your self-nurturance, trying to quiet your self-talk through meditation, through like being in nature, through spiritual activities, and like, yeah, being less like your mom, a little bit more like your dad. Alexandra, you are next. Let me know your birthday information and your question. And Kristen, I hope this answers it. I know it's like, I think yours is a little bit a faster one, but that's just kind of what pops at me. And also with your Mars retrograde in Cancer, right? Like it's like Mars retrograde ruled by this moon, the planet of action, moving backwards. So this would also benefit from like working with children, women, expressing this like action hero energy in healthy ways, because like Mars retrograde can be very like feisty energy directed inwards, and having this warrior within you that is a little bit stuck or compromised or like harder to express. So if as much as you can work like on ways of expressing it, which will be both like physical movement and like women and connection with women. And you do have a lot of air, so honestly sometimes even hanging out with like earthy people, like hang out with Tauruses, hang out with Virgos, Capricorns, like watch them and like be a little bit slower. Alexandra, okay, I see Alexandra's information and the question. After you guys, there's Melinda and Stephanie. If you ladies are still here, please send your information and your question. And otherwise, I will soon be wrapping up. Okay, Alexandra. August 23rd, 1989. Jupiter in Cancer crew. 1989. 6:21 p.m. Houston, Texas. Jupiter in Cancer. I see your Jupiter in Cancer. Okay, after Alexandra, it's Melinda and Stephanie. If you ladies are here, do let me know. Okay, Alexandra, my question is, my boyfriend and I are on a break, or I don't know where we stand, and I just don't know if things will get better between us. Jupiter is in my 5th house right now, and it doesn't feel like it's doing its job. Jupiter is in its detriment in Gemini, so a lot of people are complaining about Jupiter and not being at its most Jupiterian self. Hi, Lunar Vedic Vision. Hi, a fellow astrologer. That's fun. Alexandra is saying, I'm about to have a Jupiter return. Congratulations. That is an exciting thing to go through. And Jupiter is really very nice to have in Cancer. You have this T square between your Saturn in Capricorn, Jupiter in Cancer, and your Venus in Libra. 3 powerful planets all at odds with one another. Jupiter is emotional. Oh, and another Gemini moon. Look at that. Look at that. Alexandra, is your mom also a Gemini, or is she very Gemini-like, very chatty and youthful, and maybe more of a friend, or wants to be your friend more than your parent sometimes? Melinda. Okay, Melinda is still here. So Melinda, if you can start typing up your date, time, and place of birth, and your question, because you'll be next. And thank you for still being here. And then Stephanie, and then we will wrap up. Thank you for everyone who's still watching. Alexandra says she's very chatty, but she's a Libra. Libra and Gemini, they're very connected. Okay, so you're saying you don't feel like Jupiter is doing its job. Pluto just entered my 1st house and feels like constant crisis right now. Okay. So you're trying to figure out what's happening with this relationship, right? So just by looking at your natal chart, without like having to look at the horary, because horary might be a better choice for a relationship type of question, I can definitely see if I can like pull up a quick horary chart. You're born with South Node in Leo in the 7th house, North Node in Aquarius in the 1st. So South Node in Leo and in the 7th house does indicate that you have like this past life knowledge of how to be in a relationship. You also may potentially have like knowledge of how to be in a dramatic relationship. South Node and Leo people often end up finding themselves in romantic dramas, in relationships that are, full of upheavals and ups and downs. And even your Saturn, Jupiter, even this T square, it's very friction producing, because like Venus and Libra will be this very like love is perfect, love is magical, look at these rainbows and unicorns. And Saturn will be like, I need structure, I need to know where things are going. And Jupiter will be like, I feel things. And like, so, and you have a lot of this like inner kind of friction and dialogue. And Saturn may also suggest having to deal with some kind of, delays and restrictions and karmic lessons, and kind of realizing that sometimes you have to set your foot down and you have to assert yourself and you have to express your boundaries. And with North Node in Aquarius too, you're saying Pluto is creating a lot of upheaval, but maybe Pluto is actually teaching you things, and maybe Pluto is here to like really force you to own your power and detach a little bit from like the emotional self, and like have your brain kick in a little bit. I feel like with North Node in Aquarius, it's also about to, your nodal return will begin next year, right? So you're closing in on this very, very important cosmic period in which you are like approaching your nodal nodal return, which will be a doubling up of your natal themes of, again, like letting go of these masks, of these like people pleasing patterns that you're playing, and like desire to be liked or desire to appear a certain way, and you're exploring your quirky devil may care, I know who I am type of energy. So I feel like the lesson here is maybe more about like connecting with yourself. Um okay, you're saying, yeah, I'm too people pleasing. Lunar Vedic vision. I work with tropical zodiac, Western Hellenistic astrology, so not modern, more traditional. Um Alexandra, so I hope I hope this helps. I mean, it's not really clear about. Okay, let me see if I can see anything from the horary. I can ask the question. Are you wondering whether you'll get back together? Is this the question? Like, are you wondering is if there's a future with this person? Yes, basically. Okay, let's say, is there, what's his name? Or you can just give me like the first letter of his name. I just want to put something in my in my question. So we're asking Travis. Okay, is there a future with Travis? And again, if you guys want a personal reading, I can do all of this with you face to face and answer your questions. Okay. Horary readings are similar to tarot because they're basically, we're looking at the chart of the moment for my location as an astrologer, and we're trying to see whether it tells us anything. And sometimes they're very loud and sometimes they're a little bit harder to read. So we will see what it says and whether there is some kind of like promise. Okay. This is incorrect house system. Let me fix this because it's supposed to be Reggio Montanus, not whole sign. Okay, so it looks like yes. It's sort of off the top of the head right away. Looks like yes, there is some kind of potential. So, okay, so you are Mars in Leo. You are kind of focused on career. You're currently in the house of education, maybe thinking about public life. Sort of makes sense. We were just talking about your South Node in Leo. He would be Venus and Aries. He really cares about you. In this chart, he's ruled by you. He's in some kind of like uncertain maybe place right now where he's in his detriment, like something about the way he feels, maybe the way, like maybe even the fact that he cares about you a lot makes him feel a little bit uncomfortable. There's definitely a lot of like, I think, feelings on his part your way. And also his planet is traveling towards you, and it's traveling towards you with 3 degrees apart. So the next aspect Venus is making is pretty much to you. So this looks like a very clear yes. There is a future between the two of you, and it's showing that he might potentially reach out to you in 3 time units. So 3 time units could be 3 days, could be 3 weeks, could be 3 months, right? It's a little bit hard with like being really specific. Okay, Alexandra, I'm gonna wrap it up here and move on because I'm starting to run out of steam, and we want to make sure I give everyone the same amount of energy. Yeah, Alexandra, you're welcome. But yeah, try to maybe listen to what Pluto has to say, and maybe it's here to like teach you some important lessons. Okay, Melinda and Stephanie. If Stephanie is not with us, we'll do Melinda and then wrap up. But if Stephanie is still here, I can do Melinda and Stephanie. Melinda, are you still here? Please say I or say hi or something if you still are. Oh, a fellow 1987. A fellow Virgo from 1987. Look at that. Yes, Melinda, are you still with us? Okay, Melinda is still here. Stephanie, if you are as well, you will be last on my list. If not, I can also take you next week. But Melinda, did you send me your question? You did. Okay. Let me see. Easton, Maryland. I think now I need to change the house system. And also, Alexandra, I'm curious. Do let me know. You should let me know if you hear from him and like if something does happen in 3 time units, because I am very like horror can be so crazy accurate. And I really want to use it for trying to locate my notebook, because I've lost my yoga notebook somewhere and I can't find it. So Alexandra, please give me an update when you hear from your ex or present partner. Okay. What is happening? My live screen is a little bit. Okay. Melinda, is this correct for you? Virgo sun, Scorpio moon, Sagittarius rising. Would love anything pertinent over the next year. My marriage has been very heavy last year. Okay. So anything coming up for you? So there is a lot going on with your, let me actually put it together with transits. Okay, so your chart ruler has been in the sign of its detriment in the house of relationships. It could be both positive, but it could be a little bit tricky, right? It is the planet that's in charge of you. It has been very relationship focused over the course of the last year, from May until June 9th this year. But this whole detriment thing might suggest that maybe you've been worried about things, or there could have been like some kind of split of 2 possibilities in your life. Like you would have been considering, maybe, like you said, I don't know, if we're talking about your marriage, something maybe ending a relationship and then working through a relationship. So there maybe was like a little bit of questioning of things. Another relationship focus, and potentially South Node has just entered Virgo, which is similar to 2007, 2008. What was happening in 2007, 2008 in your life, in relationships, in terms of family, in terms of maybe even career? The thing is, when South Node is in Virgo, it brings release of topics in the Virgo house, which is your public life. and your reputation, what is known of you to people, it brings a lot of focus to your home and family. So it sort of takes away from focusing too much on the public life and public approval, and more so on creating um, more like stability in the home. Ashley is asking, do you do payment plans for readings? Not normally, but if you message me, if you email me, Anastasia period does astrology, Anastasia period does period astrology, we can talk about it. I'm open to potentially figuring it out. So yeah, Melinda, do you remember 2007, 2008? So South Node is going to conjoin your Mercury, and it's going to conjoin your midheaven and your Venus and your Sun and Mars. So there is like some important change going on. Could it be an ending of a marriage? Yes, it could be, but it could also be um very much about rethinking your approach to things, right? Like changing something in a marriage, letting go of maybe some kind of need for control, or mutual self-criticism, or even like your tendency to work a lot and maybe focusing a little bit more on being like more present and like getting away with your partner. So it's an interesting one because it could be like both dissolution of something, as well as 2008 was your first marriage. So was it a good time in your life, 2007, 2008? Because I think if it was a good time, then there is good potential for it being pretty decent now, potentially. And you are also 37. So this is second house, ruled by Saturn in the first. The ruler of your house of relationships is generally, it's a very strong Mercury, but you have Venus in the sign of its fall and you have the moon in the sign of its fall. I would really recommend my exalted moon candle, or honestly, even like moon in Cancer. This could be really, moon in Cancer is probably better because this would be moon falling in your house of partner's money, because you have moon in the sign of its fall ruling the house of partner's money. So maybe this is something you struggle with, like finding a partner who is stable and financially secure. This is moon in Cancer falling in your house of partner's money, and it could be like really beneficial for improving their finances. Okay, you're saying it was really nice in 2008. So I think that's a good sign. Um, and so maybe it's just an opportunity to kind of like examine your patterns, right? And for Venus too, I would recommend Venus and Taurus for you, or Venus and Libra. Yeah, Venus and Libra, maybe. Venus and Libra and Moon in Cancer, or Venus and Taurus. Like those could be good remediation, because like when you're born with Venus and Virgo, and I have Venus and Virgo, right? Because we're both Virgos from 87. So almost every Virgo from 87 has Venus and Virgo, unless she's born after, like, I think it's September 16th. So the final few days of Virgo, they have Venus and Libra. But if you're born with Venus and Virgo, there is this sort of natural tendency to focus on the negatives, to be, critical of yourself and other people, to be perfectionist. And like, I think we're just very rational when it comes to love. We are not like, sort of lost in la la land. We see things for what they are. But the tendency to be negative and critical can affect our ability to be present and ability to enjoy the moment. So I feel like there is this maybe nice opportunity for you right now to let go of some of that and to like reconnect with your partner, if you want to reconnect with your partner, or reconnect with yourself maybe. And yeah, like let go of some like criticism, and also your chart ruler. So Jupiter has been in detriment, like I said, since May until June 9th this year. And this is your chart ruler. So it means that you may have been this last year in somewhat of a detriment, in a more complicated emotional or physical or marriage related state. When Jupiter goes into Cancer on June 9th, for a year until June 30, 2026, this is your chart ruler in the sign of exaltation. So you're going to get a bump. You're going to get a boost. and like you will, I think, notice that things are looking a little brighter. So just be patient and do consider getting my moon in Cancer candle, because like that's for sure I would recommend, because your moon is in Scorpio. Moon in Scorpio is the type of person that has been through a lot in life and has experienced a lot of like upheavals and ups and downs and challenges. And you may have this sort of natural tendency to like be very private or very like worried about things, and moon in Cancer can sort of bring a little bit of ease into your life. So that is my take on your question, Melinda. I hope this answers it. I hope this shines some light. Is Stephanie here? And if she's not, we will wrap up for today. You're welcome, Melinda. I'm glad this was helpful. Thank you guys so much for your donations and for your support. And if ever you want to book a reading, you want to join my course, you want to check out my candles, all of that is at anastasiadoesastrology.com. So I think I'm going to wrap up. Stephanie, if you are not here and you want to join me next week, you're welcome to do that. If any of you wanted to get a reading and couldn't get it today, you can do it next week as well. And I really appreciate all of you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.